Hi everyone, I am Kyla Thompson. I am a mom to my daughter Bella, who many of you know as Bella Brave, as well as my son Waylon, who is 5 and loving life. Thank you for having me here to speak on the importance of organ donation as a family who, for my daughter's sake, needed to wait for a donor for not just solid organ donation to save her life, but also bone marrow stem cell donation that saved her life at 1 year old. So thank you. This means a lot to me and my family, and talking about this, getting this information out there can mean the world to another family in waiting for organ donation, deceased or living. And I think it's the power of conversation and awareness and advocacy that can save more kids' lives, since there is an age limit to registration for living donors, that being 16-year-old and up, as well as for the details around pediatric organ donation for deceased donors is not something you can register for. You can't register your child. So the conversations need to be had with your families to save lives. The importance of organ donation means the world to me because it saved my daughter's life twice. Bella was born with severe combined immune deficiency, which is also known as SCID, and in layman's terms means she had no immune system when she was born. And that meant that she needed a bone marrow donor to donate their bone marrow and save her life, because my husband and I were not a match and she was our only child. So we had to rely on a complete stranger somewhere in this world to donate their marrow, be on the registry, and be willing to donate for her. And thankfully, we did find that person after 2 months, and Bella received her bone marrow transplant when she was 1 year old. Secondly, organ donation means so much to us because not only do, in this medical life, we're going on 10 years now. Bella will be 10 in December. And in this medical life, we have come to know many, many friends who have needed organ donation, and all of which are pediatrics, so little kids. And when it comes to that type of organ donation, with it being a solid organ, unfortunately, a lot of the time it is a deceased donor, which needed to be the case for Bella because she needed bowels, and full bowel donation could not come from a living donor. So the power of conversation means so much, talking to your families about organ donation, because you never know when that tragedy might happen. You don't know if it'll be you or a family member, your son or your daughter, your niece or your nephew, that find themselves in the PICU, the pediatric ICU, on life support. And at that time, having the specialist come in and say, are you willing to donate your child's organs? To help you understand a little bit of Bella's solid organ donation journey, she was born with a really rare bowel disease called long segment Hirschsprung's. And so basically her bowels were dead cells. They caused blockages, they caused pain, distension, they were failing. From the moment she was born, her bowels failed her and continued to fail her and cause her pain. It wasn't until she was 6 years old that her medical team had said, her bowels are not going to last. She needs to be listed for a bowel transplant. And from there, we learned what that means for her and her future donor's family. And if now that I know the process, I would not only ask for everyone to have the conversation so that more parents are aware that that decision they make in the PICU means life or death for another child, even though they're going through the worst moment in their life of someone telling them their child is not going to wake up. Will you donate your child's organs? If I could ask for support for those families, we realized that in this process of waiting for bowels for Bella, that we were at the mercy of another parent somewhere in our country that would be in a PICU, a pediatric ICU somewhere, and be told that their child is not going to wake up. They're brain dead, but their organs could be donated and save another child's life. And so my daughter's life was hanging in the balance on that parent's decision to say yes to organ donation, to say, yes, I will donate my child's organs, because they can also say no in that moment. And it was so hard in waiting, knowing that my child's life depended on that decision. It didn't depend on someone pulling out a paper donor card or someone swabbing their cheek. For Bella and many kids out there, it specifically matters if their caregiver or their parent says yes in that moment, in that ICU room, being told their child is not going to wake up. Will you still donate their organs? And so the conversations that need to be had are, helping people become aware and saying, if you are ever in that position, please know what this could mean for a family like ours. By saying yes to donating your child's organs, you're saving my child's life. It's such a hard conversation to have, but it's also needed because these situations come up in the hardest of times for a family, in tragic times. And if the conversations about this are had earlier, then more people are aware and able to give a response in those times of tragedy, or understand the process and be able to give an answer in that time and say, yes, I will donate my child's organs to help save the life of another child who's waiting. Thank goodness that Bella, received a match to save her life, as she waited 3 years through bowel failure, painful bowel failure, for all of her life. But she was listed for 3 years. And because a mom in her darkest day was able to say yes to organ donation for her child who was not going to wake up and come out of the ICU, she still had the ability to say yes to it, and that saved my daughter's life. Part of me wonders that perhaps Bella wouldn't have had to wait so long for a solid organ donor to save her life if that could have happened sooner, if more conversations were happening out there around organ donation, if more people understood what it could mean in saving a kid's life who's waiting. And for the families that are waiting right now that may not have another month with their little one, they may not have another week with their little one unless organ donation happens for them. And so it's really important that we have the conversations today, and as many times with as many family members as we can, so that they are aware of what this can mean for a little one waiting. Their life depends on it, like Bella's did. And thank goodness hers happened, because yes, she waited 3 years, but they did not think through her bowel failure, through her organ failure, that she would have even 5 or 10 more years. We did have a timeline, and like a lot of other families in Canada out there with their little ones or themselves waiting for organs, there's only so much time that they have. And so the more that this conversation can be had and this information can be spread and more awareness is made, then the better chance there is that we can save another child in time. So I hope that the more conversations we can have with our family will improve and increase our organ donation rates in Canada, which are quite low. I believe they're close to 30%. And I know that the power conversation will help raise that number, because that's really, really the only way right now for kids under 16 to be able to receive a donor, is knowing that their caregivers or their parents are aware of what it means and that they can say yes to organ donation. I hope that saying yes to organ donation for these parents gives them even a sliver of healing and peace, knowing that they're saving another child's life. I've yet to be able to meet Bella's donor family. If I could tell them anything, it would be we are forever grateful for their decision to donate their child's organs to save another child's life, and in turn save our daughter's life and give us a daughter who now lives pain-free. She can live outside of the hospital more than inside of one and get her childhood back. Please take the time to sit down at the dinner table or your next family gathering and talk about organ donation, but not only organ donation, pediatric organ donation. Have the conversation, help them understand that whether it's your child that is the donor or the recipient families out there, understanding that their child may pass while waiting. And if more people are aware about organ donation, then there's more of a chance that their child can survive, because of the conversations that have been had with family members and people to understand the process and know that it's a possibility if you ever unfortunately have to be in that situation. There's so much information on organ donation, stem cell, and solid organ and tissue donation on blood.ca. I would like to eventually get out there and talk to more kids in high schools, students at high schools and colleges, to help them become more aware that 16 or 18 years and up, you can be a stem cell donor. So that's when you swab your cheek, send that in, and you could save somebody anywhere in the world. I know Bella needed a bone marrow transplant, like I had mentioned earlier, when she was 1, and her donor came from Germany. When it comes to solid organ donation, specifically for pediatrics, so kids like Bella, that is contained to country by country. So because Bella was a recipient in waiting for a solid organ, she's on a list only for Canada. So it means the world to us and many other families that we've come to know in waiting for their child's ability to have a donor save their lives. They are limited to this knowledge of organ donation in our country. So it's really important that we do a better job in our own country to share and have those conversations around organ donation, and specifically pediatric organ donation. I really hope our story and our message has helped you understand a little bit more. And if you can take anything away from my video, it would be to please, whoever your family members are, your loved ones, your close ones that you are visiting with tonight, please bring up this conversation with them and just discuss how important solid organ and tissue donation is in saving kids' lives and people's lives that are in waiting. Thank you.